Hey guys, this is David Adams again, and you're checking out Reading Seth. This is actually my vlog, and this is going to be episode number 8, and it's from content that comes from August of 2002. For those of you that are not familiar with the channel, largely I'll read blog posts from Seth Godin's blog and do different comments or commentary about it. We've actually had the first 7 episodes that have went through January through July of 2002. This is now episode number 8. And I'll be continuing on through the year in 2002 and on beyond. But with that, today's post, there's actually only one. And it is actually a post that Seth published on August the 8th of 2002. And it's entitled, How Much Does Style Cost? Now, for those of you that are familiar with the channel or saw some of the previous where I've read different months previous to this, there's been a lot of different topics that Seth brought up. For this month and for August, he basically was focused on one thing and one thing alone, and it was branding. It's a great post. I picked up a lot from it, and I've actually used a couple of notes from it in different conversations I've had since I read it first time through. But it'll be coming up in just a moment. Any comments, you can definitely include in the comments below. If you're going to subscribe, definitely that's going to be your right. And what I did do is if you do check out the blog post is actually, the original blog post from Seth's blog is in the description down below. As well as any links that were in the blog post itself. I include those in the description as well. But with that, let's jump in. And this is again from August 8th of 2002, and it's How Much Does Style Cost? I spent last weekend in the vast cultural wasteland that is known as Hershey, Pennsylvania. This is the epicenter of cheap chocolate. More than that, though, it demonstrates a really important principle about design, style, and the quest for the remarkable. Hershey Park is roller coaster heaven. There are wood coasters, metal coasters, coasters that get you soaking wet, and coasters for kids. If the point of an amusement park is to offer lots and lots of rides, Hershey Park has it nailed. But spending even an hour at the park is fatiguing. It's not just boring, it's actually demoralizing. Part of this is due to the huge crowds, but hey, it's a business, and they make their money selling tickets, so they're entitled. More than 10 years ago, Philip Crosby changed the world of manufacturing with his provocatively titled book, Quality is Free. The thesis of the book was that it's actually cheaper to make stuff right the first time than it is to fix them later. In other words, you can make a profit by making your product better. While it seems to be common sense today, it sure wasn't then. We were manufacturing junk because it was fast and we thought it was cheap. The Japanese taught us that it was even cheaper to make stuff that worked. Well, here's the corollary. Style is free. Let me give you some examples from Hershey Park. Every ride has a few signs you're expected to read before you get on. The signs are a necessary expense, but that doesn't explain why they're so ugly. For example, every sign about safety is written in all capital letters with tight spacing and unattractive, hard-to-read font. Other signs are in gold, in green, in black. Every sign just about is different from every other. Hey guys, have you been to a place like this? I know I definitely have. When Seth's actually talking about this, I can actually just envision the signs myself. From places that I visited or, things that just seem to scream at me that you didn't have an actual idea for what you're building. So what you did is just cobble together a lot of stuff. He's going to go on about different things about Hershey Park, but I think if we can just put the mental picture in our head, we've all been to a place like this. And he's going to have a very astute comparison to it toward the end. You definitely want to check that out. But with that, let's get back with the post. The cost of making each sign attractive is precisely zero. Same amount of ink, same amount of wood. Yet if more people read the signs, injuries would decrease, lines would move faster, and Hershey would make more money. While we're on the topic of signs, I did a count. And there are, this is true, you can count it out yourself, more than 100 different typefaces used on official park signage. Standing in one spot in the mining town, I saw more than 40. It's like there was a horrible accident at the type foundry down the road. Imagine reading a book, or driving on a highway, or operating a car that has more than 40 typefaces displayed simultaneously. This decentralized, disrespectful method of communication quickly turns into no communication. I think we've had this experience before too, guys. I know I do in different things where essentially we come up with people, and it's especially problematic with people that want to process for things. They want to process for communication. And ultimately, when you deal in these kind of situations, a lot of times what ends up happening is that there ends up being 4 and 5 processes for communications. But at the end of the day, having 4 or 5 different ways to communicate it, as Seth is noticing, just turns into no communication at all. You get duplicate information for the things you don't need or the things that you already have. And in almost every one of those situations, a salient piece of information or an important topic is completely overlooked or missed completely. But with that, let's jump back. The same sloppiness extends to the choice of food served, the menu designs, the costumes worn by employees, on and on. My favorite, maybe not favorite, moment came just before we crawled away, defeated, in the midst of all the chaos. A 6-piece brass band, including a small tuba, a baritone, walked by, playing the theme from Hawaii Five-0. Why one brass band? Why there? Why Hawaii Five-0? I have no idea. In an earlier riff, I talked about my take on remarkable. Remarkable is necessary to market today because unremarkable products don't get talked about. They just fade away. And the opposite of remarkable is very good. Okay, guys, definitely I will include a link down below in the description as well. In last month's video, I actually read the opposite of remarkable. It was from July of 2002. And what I'll definitely do is include a link to that video as well. It's a great actual blog post that you'll definitely want to check out. If you haven't seen my episode 7 for July of 2002, you'll want to. The opposite of remarkable is there. And he makes, again, some really salient points. This being August 2002 is kind of the second month where he's been talking about some of these branding topics. And it's just getting deeper and deeper. So definitely let's jump back into the topic. Trying hard doesn't make you remarkable. Doing a good job doesn't make you remarkable. What makes you remarkable is being amazing, outstanding, surprising, elegant, and noteworthy. Hershey is actively spending money, million-dollar rides and brass bands, trying to be remarkable, and they are barely ending up being very good. There is no style at Hershey. It's not that it's bad. There are plenty of examples of bad design that ended up being so distinctive that it became good. McDonald's, for example. No, it's that they're lazy, or bureaucratic, or stuck. Hershey's doesn't feel like Disney. You won't remember it after you leave. You won't talk about it. You couldn't describe most of the experience even if you tried. There's no parallel construction to give you a mental map of what you just saw. No hierarchy of what's important and what's not. Nothing to look at when you're not rocketing at 100 miles an hour. The funny thing is that this thinking is consistent. The hotel is just as ungepatch, what a great Yiddish word. It means all mixed up with no redeeming value, as the park. And the candy the company makes is boring, non-remarkable, and distinctively unstylish. Compare this to the fictional Willy Wonka or the very real Scharfen Burger Company. I will go ahead and throw out some apologies here, guys. Ungepatch, I believe, is how that Yiddish word is pronounced. I don't speak Yiddish. I'm probably slaughtering it. I'll apologize. Yet again, this is a case of somebody attempting to do a Yiddish word, somewhat of a New York type accent with a southern drawl like mine. It's probably more entertaining than anything else. But with that, let's jump back in and finish up the post. Does Hershey make money? Sure they do. They're still profiting from great timing and being the first with a mass market chocolate bar at precisely the right moment, and profiting further from running TV ads back when TV ads actually worked. But both those moments are long gone, and it's a downhill ride from here. So what's the lesson? If you run a website, does it look like Hershey Park? If you have a retail establishment or any sort of consumer experience, is it as deadening and boring as Hershey Park? The Apple Store is the un-Hershey. Here's a company with so much style it occasionally gets in the way. But not at the store. At the store, you can grab any 3 square feet and use them as the DNA to make an entirely new store, and it would be consistent with the original. Just a glance at the store and you know where you are and what it means. So what? I'll tell you what. According to Steve Jobs, a huge percentage of visitors to an Apple store don't own a Mac before they walk in. and they do when they leave. The store isn't just a place to exchange cash for computers. It's a place to create a genuine, emotional branding experience, one that lasts. It's so cool, people come back with their friends. Is the design, the lighting, the carpeting choice, the layout, all that stuff expensive? Nope, it's free. They had to carpet and build out the store anyway. And the cost is in the thinking, in the guts, not necessarily in the fixtures themselves. Try to imagine Hershey creating an actual impact and nostalgia for their brand with Hershey Park. They may have saved a few minutes building the thing, but the complete lack of creativity, magic, imagination, or excitement can't help but bring the brand further down. Disney World may not be your favorite place in the world. Me either. But one incredible statistic tells the tale. Every year, more than 20,000 brides choose to have their wedding there. Think many people got married last weekend at Hershey Park? Hey guys, welcome back. Definitely, when Seth's talking about this is how much the style costs, he's using some great examples. I did like the point, and I think it was included on one of the videos prior in the episodes, where basically Seth was talking about Disney as a comparison to other theme parks. And I think he made this similar point of the fact that, you know, in the case of Disney, that so many brides actually look to get married there. You don't see that in a lot of other cases. There's definitely not 20,000 of them a year that do it. And this being now 2018, and he wrote this in 2002, I would not be surprised if there's more than 20,000 brides that get married there now. If you had to ask me where Hershey Park was, I think I'd remember that it was in Pennsylvania, just because I remember that that's where Hershey, Pennsylvania is. But outside of that, there's nothing descriptive about Hershey Park that would have made me know where it is. I know Coney Island is in New York. You know, in Hershey Park, I would suspect that it's in Pennsylvania, but there's nothing descriptive that would make me want to go there. Hey guys, listen. Again, this is the close up for episode 8. I appreciate it. Again, you can subscribe to your right, and definitely leave comments down below. You can check out any of the links or the link to this actual blog post on Seth's blog in the description down below. But leave a comment. Let me know what you think. As a quick note, I left an Easter egg in the channel. and we'll call it an Easter egg because I hate to call it a mistake. But I did. And for those of you that actually have watched the channel and you might have caught it, if you do, the first comment in any of my posts, in any of the post. Okay, hold on. Let's redo this. One quick note, guys, as we're closing up. I made a mistake in what I'm going to call it is an Easter egg, right? Because I hate to admit that it was a mistake, but I did make a mistake. In one of my first video logs, I actually made a pretty presumptive mistake in talking about Seth. And for those of you that have actually checked out the channel, the first person that actually puts a comment on this post for this vlog, the first person that puts the comment on here that identifies what the mistake was I made and where I made it, I will definitely give you the super duper prize. Now, you may look at yourself and think, what's the super duper prize? Well, I can guarantee you that it will be something less in value than, you know, $1 million. The $1 million, as Dr. Eva would say. It'll probably be some type of a Chick-fil-A gift card or a t-shirt or something like that. But definitely, we'll call it the super duper prize for you actually catching me in my mistake quasi Easter egg. But definitely, if you've checked out the channel and you recognized it, add one in there. What will go is the next couple of months as I read through the rest of the months for 2002. And we'll definitely announce who the winner is, and we'll all get the congratulations for them for winning the super duper prize in whatever it determines them to be. Again, all disclaimers, note, legal clause, it will not be $1 million. But with that, guys, listen, we're closing up for this episode. This was episode 8 in August 2002. Coming up shortly, we'll have episode number 9. That's going to be from September of 2002, month number 9, episode number 9. But with that will be coming up shortly. I appreciate you guys checking out the channel. Let me know in the comments if there's anything else that you guys are interested in. I've actually been reading some of Seth's books. I just finished up The Dip. And for those of you that haven't read it, I definitely recommend it. I may put a link to Amazon down below. For those of you that haven't had a chance to read it, I would definitely advise it. Definitely gives you the idea, a perspective on how things go. And we might actually review parts of the book in a future episode or something on one of the other sub-channels. But with that, guys, again, my name is David. I appreciate you checking out episode number 8. Stay tuned. Episode 9 is coming up shortly. Thanks. Bye.